Okay, so Base64 is an actual tool that will be used by programmers in many cases, in many scenarios. So let's see how we can do the same thing here using VS Code. There is a plugin called Encode Decode. This is the tool that is by the developers Meet Denny. So that we can use. Apart from Base64 Encode and Decode, there are many other encryption and decryption things that we can do, like string to JSON and all. But here we are focusing on string to Base64 and Base64 to string. So let us see with an example how we can do this. Let's say we have a string I am a coder. So you want to convert this string to Base64. So first let's press Command Shift P, and then here we can see encode decode convert selection. So click on there. Then the first thing is coming string to Base64, and the other one is Base64 to string. So now we are converting from string to Base64. So let's click on that. So now it has converted this to Base64. Now what we'll do is we'll decode this just to see whether it works or not. So press Command Shift P again. Base encode decode convert selection. Now Base64 to string. So we are decoding here from Base64 to string. So let's click on there. So now it has again converted back to I am a coder. Okay, so like this way, without any external tools, in VS Code, Visual Studio Code only, we can encode and decode Base64. So this is like basic encoding and decoding, but in many other cases also, we may require to convert from binary to Base64 and Base64 to binary. Binary in case of images I'm considering. Let's say we have a JPG file or PNG file that we need to convert that to Base64 to save in database or somewhere, and again to decode that back to the binary in JPG. So in VS Code we don't usually convert that because of the larger size, and also because of the Unicode characters. We are not able to do that in VS Code. So there is another way or efficient way to do this, that is through command prompt. Using the default terminal we can do this. So let's see how we can do this. Let's go back to the terminal. There is a command Base64 -d, then the input file that we are trying to enter. So I already have one Base64 encoded file, that Base64.txt file. So we want to convert that to image. Okay, so that is one JPG file. So let's save that in JPG. Let's say image.jpg, but before that we have to keep that flag as -o to mention it is output file. Okay, so once we do this, we can go to the folder and we can see there is a file created just right now at 7:39 p.m. image.jpg. Let's see whether we are able to view this or not. So yeah, so you can clearly view this. And just to give a hint on how this Base64 code looks like. So yeah, it is like this. Okay, so this is a large file of 85 KB. This is the efficient way to convert from Base64 to image. So now if we want to encode that also you can do. So now we'll convert this image.jpg file to Base64 file. Okay, so let's see how we can do this. Again, go back to the terminal. What we'll type is Base64 will not use the flag -d, and now the input file is the image file. Okay, so that image file is image.jpg. So now we want to save that as, let's say, Base64_e.txt. So now it will encode this image file to Base64. So let's enter and see. So now here if we see, we have Base64_e.txt file created. So let's open and see how does it look. Yeah, so it's similar to the Base64 content that we last saw. So yeah, this is the way we can use the Base64 encoding and decoding, one through VS Code using plugin, and for larger files or the binary content conversion we can use terminal for this.